For 20 years, I thought my marriage to Mark was rock solid. We'd built a life in a cozy suburban house in a mid-sized American city, filled with the chaos and joy of raising our daughter, Emily, now 18, and dreaming of becoming an interior designer. Her mood boards and fabric swatches covered our dining room table, a testament to her creative spark. Mark, with his easy smile and knack for fixing anything, was the heart of our home, or so I believed. But there were signs I ignored. Mark's late nights at the office, brushed off as deadlines, his weekend errands that stretched longer than they should. I told myself it was stress, that I was reading too much into it. After all, we'd weathered so much together: Emily's first bike ride, her science fair wins, our late-night talks over coffee. How could I doubt him? The truth hit like a wrecking ball one chilly fall afternoon in 2024. While cleaning out the garage, I found a shoebox hidden behind old camping gear. Inside was a letter, its edges worn, dated 18 years ago. It was from Claire, a college friend who'd faded from our lives after a vague falling out. Her words tore me apart. "Mark, our daughter is perfect. I named her Lily. You said you'd tell Sarah someday. Lily, a daughter, the same age as Emily." My hands shook as I read, each sentence a betrayal. Mark had a child with Claire, a secret he'd kept while we raised our family. That night, I confronted him, my voice barely steady. "How could you do this?" I asked, holding the letter like evidence. He didn't deny it. His eyes, usually warm, were heavy with guilt. "It was a mistake, Sarah," he said. "A one-time thing when we were rocky." His words felt like a slap, empty and cold. Emily overheard, standing frozen in the hallway. "I have a sister?" she whispered, her voice breaking. I hugged her tight, her tears soaking my sweater as I promised we'd get through this. But our world was fractured, and the pieces wouldn't fit back together. The months after were a blur of hurt and forced normalcy. Mark swore he'd cut contact with Claire, but Lily's existence hung over us like a storm cloud. Emily, usually a whirlwind of energy, grew quiet, wrestling with the idea of a half-sister she'd never met. I tried to keep things steady, cooking her favorite mac and cheese, taking her to thrift stores for vintage decor finds. But the pain lingered. Then, in early 2025, Claire called, her voice raw with panic. Lily was sick, her kidney had failed after years of struggling with addiction. My heart ached for the girl, a stranger caught in her parents' mess, but dread settled in when Claire mentioned Mark. "He said you'd help," she begged. "Emily might be a match." Mark's face was a mix of guilt and resolve when he brought it up. "She's Emily's sister Sarah," he said, as if that erased his betrayal. "We need to test her." My gut screamed to say no, but a naive hope that the tests would come back negative made me agree. I thought it would end there. I was wrong. The hospital visit was stark, all fluorescent lights and antiseptic smells. Emily clung to my arm as the nurse drew her blood, her eyes wide with worry. "What if I'm a match, Mom?" she asked softly. I smoothed her hair, promising it'd be okay. But when the results came back, my stomach dropped. Emily was a perfect match. Mark's relief was palpable, but all I saw was risk, a threat to my daughter's future. Mark's desperation turned into an obsession. He started hounding Emily, his voice gentle but heavy with guilt. "Lily's dying, Em," he'd say, catching her after school or over dinner. "You could save her. You're her only shot." Emily, already shaken by her dad's secret, wilted under the pressure. She'd come home, her sketch pads untouched, her eyes red from crying. I took her to see Dr. Patel, our family doctor, for clarity. She was kind but direct. "Emily's healthy now," she said. "But donating a kidney carries risks: infections, high blood pressure, even a shorter life expectancy. She'd need to be careful forever." The words cemented my decision. No cause, not even Lily's life, was worth jeopard of risk to Emily's health. I told Mark we were out no donation. He lost it, his voice booming through our living room. "You're being cruel," he yelled. "Lily's my daughter, too." His words cut deep, but I held my ground. "Emily's my priority," I shot back. "You made your choices, Mark. I'm making mine." Claire's texts started soon after. At first, they were desperate pleas. "Sarah, Lily's all I have," she wrote. I felt for her, but Emily came first. When I didn't budge, Claire's messages turned vicious. "You're heartless," she texted. "If Lily dies, it's on you and your selfish kid." She cursed us, her words a torrent of hate that left me rattled but unwavering. Emily grew anxious, her spark dimming. She stopped designing, her dreams of creating beautiful spaces fading under the weight of guilt. I held her at night, telling stories of her grandparents' farm in rural Virginia to ease her fears. But Mark's pressure was relentless, and I knew I had to act. The breaking point came on a muggy June afternoon in 2025. Emily was at school, prepping for her finals, when my phone lit up with her panicked text. "Mom, Dad picked me up. He's taking me to the hospital. I'm scared." My heart raced. I called Mark, my voice trembling with rage. "What are you doing?" I demanded. "Just more tests," he said, his tone dismissive. But I knew better. He was trying to force Emily's hand, to guilt her into agreeing. I sped to the hospital, my hands shaking on the wheel. When I got there, Emily was in the waiting room, her face pale, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I didn't want to go, Mom," she sobbed. I pulled her close, glaring at Mark. "You've crossed a line," I said, my voice ice cold. That night, I made a choice no mother should face. I couldn't trust Mark anymore, not with Emily's safety, not with her future. While she slept, I packed our essentials, her sketch pads, my laptop, our passports. I booked a flight to Virginia, where my parents lived on a quiet farm. They'd keep Emily safe, far from Mark's reach. At dawn, we left. I drove Emily to the airport, my heart heavy with fear and resolve. At the terminal, I hugged her tightly, memorizing her warmth. "You'll be okay," I whispered, my voice breaking. "Grandma and Grandpa will take care of you." She nodded, her eyes brave despite the tears. As she boarded the plane, I felt a piece of my heart go with her. Back home, I faced Mark alone. He was furious, pacing our empty house. "Where's Emily?" he demanded. I stood tall, my voice steady. "She's safe. Somewhere you can't hurt her." His face crumpled, but I felt no sympathy. He'd chosen Lily over Emily, and I'd chosen my daughter over him. A week later, I heard through a mutual friend that Mark had donated his own kidney to Lily. The irony stung. He'd been willing to risk Emily's life, but hesitated to sacrifice his own until he had no other option. Lily survived the transplant, and I felt a flicker of relief for her, a young woman caught in her parents' mistakes. But my heart was with Emily, safe in Virginia, sketching under my parents' oak trees. I filed for divorce, selling our house to start fresh. The pain of a broken marriage lingered, a wound that might never fully heal. But I'd make the same choice again. Emily was my world, and a mother's love is a shield no betrayal can break. I moved to a small apartment downtown, a quiet space where I could breathe again. I video called Emily every day, her smile brighter with each call. She'd started designing again, her mood boards filled with farmhouse-inspired ideas. My parents sent photos of her laughing in their garden, her sketch pad open to a cozy living room design. "I'm okay, Mom," she said, her voice strong. "I'm safe." Claire sent one last message, a curt note that Lily was recovering. There was no apology for her venom, no regret for the pain she'd caused. I didn't reply. My focus was on healing, on rebuilding a life for me and Emily. I took a job as a freelance graphic designer, the work steadying me in a world that felt unsteady. Mark tried to reach out, his texts a mix of apologies and excuses. I ignored them. His kidney donation was a redemption too late, overshadowed by the harm he'd caused. I heard he'd moved to a new city, maybe to be closer to Lily. I wished him no harm, but I wanted him gone from our lives. 6 months later, I visited Emily in Virginia. The drive was long, but seeing her run toward me in my parents' driveway erased every mile. We spent days exploring the countryside, her laughter a melody I'd missed. She showed me her latest designs, warm, inviting spaces that blended rustic charm with modern flair. "I'm going to create something amazing someday, Mom," she said, her eyes shining. We talked about the past, but not with pain. Emily understood why I'd sent her away, why I'd fought for her. "You saved me," she said one evening as we watched the sunset from the porch. I shook my head, tears in my eyes. "You saved yourself, sweetheart. You were brave." I'm back in the city now, but I'm not the same Sarah. The betrayal forged me into someone stronger, someone who knows the power of a mother's love. Emily will come home when she's ready, and we'll build a new life together. For now, I carry her designs in my heart, a reminder that love can rebuild what secrets destroy. As I settle into my new life, I think about the woman I was a year ago, trusting, naive, blind to the cracks in my marriage. The discovery of Lily shattered that version of me, but it also revealed a strength I didn't know I had. I've learned that love isn't just warmth and comfort. It's fierce, a force that drives you to protect what matters most, even when it means breaking your own heart. Emily's thriving in Virginia, her designs taking shape in ways I never imagined. She's applied to a design school, her portfolio bursting with ideas that blend her love for cozy spaces with bold, modern touches. Looking back, I realized this ordeal wasn't just about protecting Emily. It was about teaching her what it means to stand up for yourself. She's seen me fight, not with anger, but with love. She's learned that family isn't just blood, it's the people who choose you, who keep you safe. When she comes home, we'll face the future together, stronger for it. I keep a photo of Emily on my desk, her smile wide as she holds a sketch pad on my parents' porch. It's a reminder of why I fought, why I left, why I sent her away. A mother's job isn't to shield her child from every pain. It's to teach them how to rise above it. Emily's doing that, and I'm so proud. Someday we'll talk about Lily, about the sister she might never know. I'll tell her it's okay to feel compassion, to wonder about the what-ifs, but to never let guilt define her choices. For now, we're focused on the present, her dreams, my healing, our new beginning. As I write this, I'm sipping coffee in my tiny apartment, the city lights twinkling outside. The road ahead isn't clear, but it's ours. Emily's sketches taped to my fridge are a promise of what's to come, a life built on love, resilience, and the courage to start over. I've thought a lot about what it means to be a mother. It's not just late-night cuddles or cheering at school events. It's the gut-wrenching choices, the moments you stand alone against the world to protect your child. Sending Emily to Virginia was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the bravest. I chose her safety over everything, my marriage, my home, my heart. I don't know what the future holds for Mark or Lily. I hope they find peace, but that's not my story anymore. Mine is with Emily, with the life we're building from the ashes of betrayal. She's talking about visiting soon, maybe for the holidays. I'm already planning her favorite dinner, mac and cheese with extra cheddar, just like old times. The other day, Emily sent me a new design, a cozy coffee shop with warm lighting and mismatched chairs. "This one's for us," she wrote. "A place to start over." I smiled, tears in my eyes, knowing we already have. We're not just surviving. We're thriving, one sketch, one day, one choice at a time. Before the letter, I was Sarah the wife, Sarah the mom, Sarah the optimist who saw the good in everyone. I grew up in a small Ohio town where trust was as natural as breathing. My parents, now retired on their Virginia farm, taught me to believe in second chances. That's why I stayed with Mark through our early struggles, money troubles, late nights when he was building his career as a contractor. I thought we'd conquered the hard times. Finding out about Lily showed me how wrong I was. The weeks after the discovery were torture. I'd lie awake, replaying every moment of our marriage, wondering what else I'd missed. Had Claire been at our wedding, smiling while hiding her secret? Had Mark thought of Lily when he held Emily as a baby? The questions gnawed at me, but I hid them from Emily. She didn't need my pain on top of her own. I started noticing things I'd ignored, Mark's old college photos where he and Claire stood too close, the way he'd tense when her name came up. I wondered if he'd ever loved her, if he still did. The thought made me sick, but I pushed it down. Emily needed me strong, not broken. Emily's world shifted as much as mine. She'd always been our dreamer, filling notebooks with ideas for cozy homes and vibrant cafes. But after learning about Lily, she withdrew. I'd find her staring out her bedroom window, her sketch pads untouched. "Do you think Dad loves her more?" she asked one night, her voice small. I wanted to scream that Mark didn't deserve her worry, but I just held her, promising she was enough. School became her escape, but Mark's pressure followed her there. He'd show up at her art club, pulling her aside to talk about Lily. Her friends noticed her distraction, her teachers commented on her missed assignments. I tried to shield her, picking her up early, keeping Mark at bay, but his guilt trips were relentless, chipping away at her confidence. One evening, she showed me a sketch, a dark, abstract swirl of lines, nothing like her usual warm designs. "It's how I feel," she said, tears in her eyes. I knew then that I had to do more than argue with Mark. I had to protect her, no matter the cost. Planning our escape was like walking a tightrope. I couldn't let Mark suspect anything, but I had to move fast. I spent nights researching flights, my laptop hidden under a blanket so he wouldn't see. Virginia was the obvious choice. My parents' farm was a safe haven far from Mark's reach. I called my mom, whispering my plan while Mark was at work. "Bring her to us," she said, her voice steady. "We'll keep her safe." Packing was the hardest part. I chose Emily's favorite things, her sketch pads, a locket I'd given her for her 16th birthday, her worn-out Converse. I packed light for myself, just enough to start over. The morning we left, I woke Emily gently, explaining everything. "We're going to Grandma and Grandpa's," I said. Her eyes were scared but trusting. "Okay, Mom," she whispered. The drive to the airport was silent, the weight of our decision heavy. I kept checking the rearview mirror, half expecting Mark to follow. At the terminal, I gave Emily a letter I'd written, words I couldn't say out loud. "You are my everything. Never forget that." She hugged me, her arms tight, and boarded the plane. I stood there until it took off, my heart breaking and healing all at once. Life without Emily is quiet, but I'm finding my way. My apartment is small but mine, filled with thrift store furniture and plants I'm trying not to kill. I've thrown myself into work designing logos for local businesses. It's not glamorous, but it's honest, and it keeps me grounded. Emily's calls are the highlight of my days. She's thriving in Virginia, helping my dad fix fences, sketching with my mom in their garden. Her latest design, a community center with open spaces and warm lighting, made me cry. "It's for people to feel safe," she said. I knew she was talking about herself, about us. Mark's gone quiet, his texts dwindling. I heard he's struggling, adjusting to life after the transplant. I don't wish him pain, but I don't wish him well either. My focus is Emily, our future, the life we're building from the ground up. As I write this, Emily's planning to visit for Thanksgiving. I'm already picturing her at my tiny kitchen table, sketching while we talk over coffee. She's stronger now, her voice brighter, her dreams bigger. I'm stronger too. Not the naive Sarah who trusted blindly, but a woman who knows her worth, and her daughters. This story isn't about Mark or Lily or even Claire. It's about Emily and me, about the love that carried us through betrayal and fear. It's about the courage to walk away, to choose safety over guilt, to rebuild when everything falls apart. Emily's sketches are my proof, bold, beautiful, full of hope. We're not just surviving, we're creating something new, something ours.